All right. Ready for a deep dive?
Always.
Okay, good. Because this time we are looking at chapter 32, The Whale, from Heart of a Samurai.
Ah, yes, yes.
And this chapter, well, this one really throws Manjiro for a loop, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely a turning point for him. You know, it's interesting how one event can kind of shift your whole worldview. You know what I mean?
It's true, and we see that happen to Manjiro here.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like he goes from just trying to survive,
Yep.
right, to suddenly seeing this bigger picture.
Exactly, yeah. And the way the chapter just drops us right into the action, too. Like, we're right there with him, about to harpoon this whale.
And he hesitates.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not even about, like, being scared to do it or anything.
Right, he's already proven he can handle himself on the ship.
Right, yeah, but he sees what it all means, this whole, like, whaling thing. It's almost like he's realizing the cost of everything, you know?
And, you know, in the beginning, he's all about adapting to survive on the ship, right? But with the whale,
Yeah.
it's different. He's forced to think about what he's bringing back with him to Japan, the good and the bad.
It's a huge shift for his character. Like, he's going from just trying to survive to suddenly having this, like, responsibility.
Definitely, yeah.
And then there's the whale itself. I mean, talk about symbolism.
Oh, yeah. It's
Yeah.
not just a hunt. It's a powerful, powerful image that sticks with you.
For sure. The author describes it as this island rising from the ocean.
Yeah. And that's no accident. It makes you think about Japan.
Absolutely. Vulnerable, like...
Like it could be swallowed up.
Yes! Like foreshadowing, you know, with what we know about how Japan eventually was opened up to the West.
Like a premonition.
Right. But, okay, before we get ahead of ourselves, I want to go back to Manjiro's, like, internal struggle here.
Sure. Yeah.
The author doesn't shy away from how brutal whaling is. It's graphic, you know, and it's like we're being forced to confront the reality of what it means to, well, to do this.
Totally. It's not just about whaling itself, though. It's about the clash between two different worlds, Japan and the West.
Yeah.
Tradition versus modernization. You know, respecting life versus this ruthless industry.
And poor Manjiro is stuck right in the middle of it. He's got this weight on his shoulders now.
It's a lot to carry. Almost like he has to choose between these two parts of himself, you know?
Mm-hmm.
The part that's Japanese and the part that's been shaped by the West.
And he can't just ignore what he's learned, right?
No, not at all. I mean, he's seen how destructive things can be, the way they use resources, disregard for traditions.
Yeah, but he's also learned so much from them. About their technology, navigation, their language even. He can't just erase all of that.
And it makes his decision to stop whaling even more powerful, I think.
Yeah. It's like he's not just saying no to a job, he's rejecting this whole system that goes against everything he believes in.
It's almost like a rejection of Western imperialism, even if you wouldn't have used that word, you know?
Right, right. But he's seen the future, in a way. Like, he knows what's coming.
Oh, absolutely. He knows Japan can't stay isolated forever.
Exactly. And that's where this new purpose comes in. Like, when he says he wants to go home...
Yeah, it's more than just missing home, isn't it?
Way more. It's like he needs to warn them, to prepare them.
He's becoming this bridge between two worlds that are about to collide. And what's so interesting is that he doesn't choose, like, violence to do it.
Right.
He chooses knowledge. He realizes that understanding both the West and Japan's own strengths, well, that's the key to navigating the future he sees coming.
He even talks about needing to find a fortune. It's like there's this practical side to it, too.
Oh, totally. He knows that change doesn't happen with just good intentions. You need resources. You need to be able to actually make things happen.
It's like he's already thinking like a leader.
Exactly. He's strategizing, thinking about how to elevate Japan's place in the world.
And it's not about just copying the West either, right? He sees the value in his own culture, the importance of tradition, too.
It's finding that balance, holding on to who you are while still moving forward. You know, that's something we're still grappling with today.
It's like he's saying we can evolve without abandoning who we are. Like, there's a middle ground.
Definitely. And it's pretty forward thinking.
Yeah.
When you think about it. Like, today we talk about cultural exchange, right? Sharing ideas, technology, art.
Yeah, like globalization.
Exactly. But Manjiro, he seems to understand that, even back then, that real progress comes from understanding, from respecting different ways of seeing the world.
Not just saying my way is the right way.
Exactly.
So he's like a, what do they call it, a trailblazer for this more connected world.
And it all comes from his own experiences, this willingness to learn and grow, but not lose himself in the process.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And we can't forget, I mean, this chapter is intense emotionally.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The author doesn't sugarcoat anything about whaling.
No, not at all.
And I think that's deliberate. Like, they want us to be right there with Manjiro. to feel the weight of taking a life.
It's definitely effective. The way they describe it, the whale's death, it's hard to shake off.
Yeah, and it should be, because that's where his internal struggle really comes out. He went from being horrified by it all to, learning the skills, even mastering them.
But knowing how to do something and being okay with it, those are two different things.
Big time.
And that's really what this chapter boils down to, isn't it? It's about Manjiro's journey.
100%. He's not just reacting to what's happening around him. He's growing.
From castaway to, what, a visionary almost?
Exactly. And what's inspiring is he doesn't keep it all to himself. He doesn't just use his knowledge to get ahead.
He wants to help Japan, to guide them so they don't get taken advantage of.
It makes you think about, what we do with what we know, what kind of impact we want to have.
That's a good question.
Are we going to use our experiences to build walls or build bridges? That's what the whale makes me think about, at least.
It's a powerful message for sure. Well said. And on that note, I think we'll wrap up this deep dive. Thanks for listening, everyone, and until next time, keep exploring.